Dear children, we live on this beautiful earth. Out of 8 planets, Earth is the only planet on which life is possible. पृथ्वी ही एक ऐसा planet है जिसके ऊपर life possible है. Plants, animals survive on this planet Earth, and this is the only planet on which life is possible. It is because water is found on this earth in the liquid state. Oxygen is found on this earth. All the living things, as you know, are classified into 2 categories, plants and animals. Further, all the plants that grow on this earth are divided into 2 categories. Plants that grow on the land are called terrestrial plants, and the plants that grow in water are called aquatic plants. Today I am going to discuss about different kinds of aquatic plants. So the plants that grow in water are called aquatic plants. Aquatic plants are of 3 types: free floating plants, fixed plants and underwater plants. Now in front of me there are 2 kinds of plants. One is fixed plant, these are the fixed plants, and this side underwater plants are there. What are the fixed plants? Fixed plants are those plants whose roots are fixed in the soil but they float on the surface of the water. ये जो दिख रहा ना, this you can see the leaves are floating. Okay, the leaves of this plant is floating. Okay, but its root is fixed in the soil. Yes. From inside I have taken it out. You can see this is the stem of this plant, okay, and the stem is fixed inside the soil, and it is very light, hollow means अंदर से खोखला है, okay. The leaf floats on the surface of the water, and you have to know that the stomata are present on the upper surface. Stomata जो होता है, जो holes होता है ना, okay, वो ऊपर में present है. Normally in all terrestrial plants, the stomata are found on the lower surface. But in this plant, free floating plant, okay, fixed plant, the stomata is present on the upper surface so that this plant can breathe. One more thing you have to know, this plant is always there in contact with water. हमेशा पानी में है, सड़ सकता है, गल सकता है. That is why on the upper part there is a waxy coating. एक oil के जैसा, एक wax के जैसा ऊपर में कोटिंग है. उस कोटिंग के चलते क्या होगा, जितना भी पानी हम इस पर डालें ये भींगता नहीं है, ये हमेशा सूखा रहता है. ओके, so in fixed plant you have to know that fixed plants are those plants that whose leaves float on the surface of the water but the roots are fixed. Let me see another roots I want to show you. These are the roots. Fixed plant, as I told you there that their roots are fixed in the soil. तो ये जो प्लांट है ना, इसका पत्ता ऊपर में फ्लोट करता है, लेकिन इसका जो रूट है, the root is fixed in the soil, and from the soil it absorbs nutrients. Okay, so I don't want to kill this plant, otherwise it will cry. Okay, and we should not harm the plants due to unnecessary reasons. Let me fix the soil. Babu, rona mat tum. Yes. Okay. Now this plant will not cry and it will survive. So the next category of plant that I am going to explain you is underwater plant. Underwater. It means the plant that grow inside the water. Okay. See here. You can see the plants. Green plants are here. ये जो plant दिखाई दे रहा है ना, this plants. Yes. This is Hydrilla plant. Hydrilla. Okay. And it is one example of underwater plants. The leaves are completely submerged inside the water. पूरा पानी के अंदर रहता है. देखो इधर में जितना भी दिखाई दे रहा है ना, सब जितना भी leaves है, सब leaf पानी के अंदर है. But the question is that how they will survive? Carbon dioxide कहाँ से मिलेगा? Okay. And one more thing, they have no stomata. Leaves के ऊपर में कोई stomata नहीं है. So you have to know that on the stem, ये जो stem है ना, stem के अंदर में, stem के ऊपर में some holes are there. Okay, holes are present on the stem. This plant breathes with those small holes. These plants are very important for the aquatic life. See, fishes are there, some other aquatic animals are there. Okay, those animals, they get oxygen due to this. ये जो plant है ना, it takes carbon dioxide from the water. पानी के अंदर में कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड होता है, उस पानी के अंदर से कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड को लेता है ये प्लांट, फोटोसिंथेसिस करेगा and it will give up oxygen. Okay, so this is Hydrilla. This is an example of underwater plant. This plant will not die. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, because it absorbs nutrients from the water. Okay, so let me search where can I get free floating plant. उधर में जो दिख रहा है ना थोड़ा दूर में, okay, that is water hyacinth. But water is very deep here. I cannot go. Let me search somewhere else. Okay. Now I am in front of another type of aquatic plant, that is free floating plant. You can see the pond which is there in front of me. Plenty of water hyacinth plants are there. What you are seeing here, these all plants are called water hyacinth, and it's an example of free floating plant. Okay, let me explore the features of free floating plant. You can see that these plants are completely green in color. So photosynthesis can take place easily with the help of the leaves. I will talk about the stem of this plant. It's very dangerous because maybe snakes, they live inside the water. Okay. And दलदल जमीन होता है ये. Okay. Okay. It is very hot inside. Yes. You can see this is water hyacinth. It's an example of free floating plants. Actually, why it is called free floating? Because their roots are not fixed in the soil. They simply float on the surface of water like this. You can see here, ये जो plant है ना, इसका root पूरा ऊपर में तैरता है पानी के ऊपर में. Okay, and stems, they are spongy. You can see sponge, just like sponge. Sponge hota hai na? Okay, like that. Okay, completely the stems are spongy, just like sponge. Okay, so what are free floating plants? Aquatic plants that float on the surface of water are called free floating plants. Their roots float in the water. They absorb nutrients from the water. The water is very dirty. Okay, you can see the color of the water. Okay, water is dirty, but lots of nutrients are there. तो इस प्लांट को भोजन खाना कहाँ से मिलता है? Okay, from the water. In the water, lots of nutrients are there, and it absorbs nutrients through its soil. Carbon dioxide it takes from the atmosphere, gives out oxygen as other plants do, and its flowers are purple color, beautiful flowers. Okay, so this is one example of free floating plants. Other examples are also there, like water lettuce, then duckweed. These two plants are not here. I am not able to see. Okay, only this pond is filled with water hyacinth. Okay, hope you have understood. Okay.